Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about my latest purchase, this slim profile functional trainer from RX'd. Now I'm going to give you guys a full in-depth review from the installation to the actual usage of this machine. So let's just get started. Let's just get the dimensions out of the way. So it's 35 inches wide and 79 inches tall. And from the wall, it's about 4 inches in depth. So if you have limited space, then this would be perfect for you. And it installs in the wall with 6 anchors. So there's 3 on each side of this, and they're 16 inches apart. So it lines up perfectly with your studs. As you can see, I added some spacers here, and that's because my basement, the wall slants this way. So if I lean it this way, then it's not level with the ground. And I also had to add this on one side because my floors also slant towards this way. So that's something to keep in mind if you are going to put it in your garage or your basement. You may need to make some adjustments to this in order to install it into the walls. By the way, all this came pre-installed. The cables, the pulleys, the handles, they're all pre-installed when they ship it in this box that looks like a coffin. The only difference is this was actually on the other side, so you may need to take out the bolts here and just flip it around to align it with your needs for your space. And just to give you a quick look at what it comes with these expansion screws if you're gonna install it into concrete. And of course the regular screws for your studs, which I already installed. And it has wall anchors, but I'm not trusting this heavy 500-pound machine with wall anchors. That would be ridiculous and a death sentence. It also comes with these rubber handles, which surprisingly is actually not bad. Like, it's pretty firm, but I'm still going to change it out, get some better D handles for this. The shipment comes with 5 boxes with these weights. They're 10 pounds each, and they're going to be installed with these stickers so you know what weight you're pulling. And this is a magnetic pin that they come with, the guide rods, and the cover plate. I wasn't kidding when I said it showed up in a coffin. And here it is set up. I skipped through the rest of the assembly just because it's pretty self-explanatory. All you have to do is just put in the guide rods, the weights, and the last pulley, and you're all set. The cover plate did take 2 people to put it up because it's moderately heavy. One thing to keep in mind is when you're putting in this cotter pin, you have to put it in with a hammer. Just be careful when you're hammering it in because I missed and chipped a piece of the weight plate. So other than that, assembly was pretty easy, and I don't think you'll have a problem setting this up by yourself, to be honest. I'm going to get into all the good stuff about this machine pretty shortly, but there's a few goofy things about this that I wanted to address. The first thing is basically how they set this whole thing up. It's kind of weird. Like, each one of these weights has its own hole that gets into, except the 10 pounds. The cotter pin is here, and the hole for the 10 pounds is actually right here. It's not even here. It's like 90% here and a part of it inside this thing. So there's not really any way for you to put things here to get the 10 pounds. You just have to let it hang and just kind of, it'll pull on its own, but it's just kind of like rattling across each weight, which is kind of annoying. And even if you could put it in the hole here, you really can't because of these stickers that you had to install. Like the stickers, it's by pounds and kgs, but no matter which side you put it on, you can only show one. So if you have the hole here and you put the sticker on this side, you'll only have the kilograms on here, unless you cut it and put the sticker on here. That just seems like an inconvenience. It would have made sense if they, well, for US users, if they put the hole for the 10 pounds like right here where we could put it in. Or what would have been easier if they made this cutout just a little bigger. If they just expanded it this way, then it would have been perfect, because now it's just kind of like, I don't know why they decided to make it so thin. It just seems kind of goofy, like I mentioned. It's just like, what was their decision-making process for making this? I guess they wanted to make it look more clean, but it's just kind of weird. Another reason why like it would have benefited from making this a little wider is for this pulley itself. Now this is like the main pulley for the weights. So if you've ever used a cable machine, you know that sometimes you may need to adjust to this main pulley, right? So with this width here, you can't really adjust it. You'd have to take out this entire cover plate, and there's like 20 or so bolts that you have to take out to get to this. See, if they made this a little wider, I could service this and loosen it or tighten it as needed without even taking out this cover plate. I know this is our minor complaints, but I feel like at one point it might be something that like they need to improve on, that'll make the user experience a little easier. Now this isn't a complaint, but this is something I wanted to draw attention to, is basically these cables here. Now these are extremely high quality. These are like commercial grade, it feels like. But one thing to keep note is, you know how I mentioned that this machine came basically pre-assembled? So were the cables. So the cables just kind of travel into this welded metal here. So if you ever need to change the cables, I don't know how physically you can change them. Now, I don't foresee a problem because this thing isn't gonna get thousands of use per day like a commercial gym, but eventually the cables will wear out. It's not a matter of if, but when. It could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now. Eventually you will need to change these. And when you do, you really can't, because the way it's set up, you can't access into this area. I tried to open this up, but you can see that I tried to pry it a little bit, but it doesn't open. I didn't try that hard because I don't want to break it, but it's just, there's no way for you to change the cables on this thing. But again, this isn't really a complaint because I don't really see a problem, because even if I use this thing every day, I'm probably going to use it 300 times per year, 400 times per year. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for you. One more goofy thing about this machine, this selector pin is too long. So when you actually put it into these weights, it actually extends probably this much, like out. So if you have it flush to the wall, this thing is actually going to scratch up against your wall and add more resistance, which is annoying. For me, that's not a problem because earlier you saw I added some spacers, so it's not touching my walls at all. But for other people, this might be an issue. All right, now the good stuff. Let's start with these aluminum pulleys. Now, because they're aluminum with these commercial grade cables, this thing is incredibly smooth and it is incredibly quiet. So I'm just gonna pull these a few times and let you hear for yourself. Let's do this one. And like the website and other reviews mentioned, this is a 2-to-1 ratio. So if you're using just one cable, it's half of whatever weight is listed on here. And if you add an attachment and use both these cables together, you're going to get the full weight that's listed. Now let's actually use the machine. And I'm sure everyone's wondering about the same 3 exercises for this. Can you do chest flies with them? Can you do lat pull downs? And can you do seated rows? And the answer to that is technically yes, but you'll see. Like I said, you can do chest flies with them, but normally chest flies, you see them like the cable on one side, cable on that side, so you get a good stretch. But these things are so close together, so it makes it a little more difficult to do. You see, like, with your arms this close together, you can do your chest flies, but I can tell you right now, this thing is scratching up my arm, and it is not comfortable at all. It gets the job done, but I would not do my chest flies like these. I'll just stick to dumbbells and use my cables for every other exercise. But as you can see, it can be done if you really wanted to get it done. Me personally, I would just do single arm chest flies. It would work out a little better. That way you can just isolate these and just do one arm at a time. And the issue here with lat pull downs is the fact that this is too short. Now, I personally don't have a lat pull down bar at the moment. It's arriving in the next few days, but the problem with this is, like, let's pretend that there's a lat pull down bar right here. And this is the highest setting. The machine itself is 79 inches tall. So the highest setting is probably, I'd say, 6 inches shorter than that. I'm 5'6.5", so I'm not that tall, and I still don't get a good stretch. So if you are taller, like 6 feet, any higher, then you really can't do a traditional lat pull down. Like if I'm pretending this is the lat pull down bar, like I'm not getting any kind of stretch here. So I can do them, but like it's just, I'm not getting the exercise that I need. The only way you can really get a good stretch really is if you back up a little bit, and if you pretend this is a lat pull down bar, you could just kind of like do one of these. That way you get a full stretch, you know? But me personally, I like to get on the floor, just kind of do like a one arm kneeling lat pull down. That way I don't have to move the bench constantly from one place to the other. And it works out better that way. Now with seated rows, it's a whole different issue. Normally a cable machine or a commercial gym will have a foot plate where you can rest your feet while you do the row. But unfortunately, this machine doesn't have anything like that, nor do they have any kind of attachment that you can add to this where you can do a seated row or rest your feet. But me personally, I do a variation of it where it's similar to the lat pull down, where it's like a one arm kneeling seated row. So I just put it to the section I want. And basically I use this bench to rest my hips on, or my pelvis, and kind of get a stretch and do a seated row this way. But you get the point. Basically, my point is it does have its limitations, but you can always find a workaround and still get a good workout from this. And lastly, I'll show you a few variations of different kinds of exercises I personally do with these and show you the versatility of this machine. And there you have it. This was the Get RX'd Slim Profile Functional Trainer full in-depth review. I tried to go through as much detail as I can. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer it in the comment section below. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe, because I have I think 2 followers. It would be great to have more, and companies will take notice and give me free stuff. I like free stuff. So you guys,